Morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everybody is doing well. Thank you for coming on in. We got a lot to talk about today. Um, so we had an academic to unalive himself. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. And then it's this young man who I guess his family had his obituary. His name is Taquavian. And that obituary was diabolical. We're going to talk about that a little bit. I don't know what's going on, Divine Starlight, and I don't care. No, I don't. I don't know what's going on, and I don't care. I really don't. I don't. I don't because again, these people live for strife. So what you're gonna tell me is nothing that wouldn't surprise me. Somebody done turned on somebody, and now they going at it. Who cares? It is so irrelevant. It is so irrelevant right now. So a lot is really not going on YouTube as far as the beef sector. No, it's not. But anyway, we're going to talk about Jason Arday. And I think that's important because there are a lot of twists and turns to this. But I'm really not concerned about what's going on in the beef sector because when I tell you I'm not watching, I'm not. But let me go ahead with Jason Arday for you all who are just joining. Good morning. Jason Arday is a Ghanaian immigrant whose parents migrated to London, and he actually rose up, got education, got a PhD, and what's important about him is he's the youngest African American to ever be a professor at Cambridge University, which is one of the most prestigious universities in the world. And so he has a colorful background. He is an autistic man. He is definitely a functioning autistic man. But recently, there were some people who started looking into his background. Now, he was accused of plagiarism on his doctoral thesis. However, he was cleared by his university and Cambridge. Cambridge stood behind him until these right wing people started digging deep into his life. Then, you all, they started looking at his stories. He had claimed that he worked at Ohio State and some more places, and some of the places were turning up that no, this is not so. Now, a regular person would be like, see, these are frauds. But I'm looking at this like, wow, they really coming after this man like this. But it's a it's two pronged to this, you all. It's two pronged. Now, he wound up taking his life on the 14th of this month. He was already mentally fragile. He was an autistic man. He wound up taking his life. He resigned from Cambridge. Cambridge was doing an investigation. They really didn't say yes or no of what he did, but they were doing an investigation. Let me say this. On one hand, I consider it very racist and very targeted. They did not want a black man at Cambridge in those areas. I would want them to give the scrutiny to every professor who's working at Cambridge like they gave him. That's my problem. And I know that white people get away with it because at Valdosta State, they had a dude who had a doctorate degree that wasn't even accredited, and he was working there. There are people who get professors that title professor because you got assistant, associate, and professor, that tenure track, and they don't deserve it. How many of you all know people who are not who they say they are, but yet get a job? So this man was married, had two children, and did a lot of speaking. But I'm going to tell you what bothered me about him, and this is where I want to get. Black men, black women, be who you are. You do not need to embellish. You do not need to um, hack your resume. Be who you are. We don't have the luxury to be a Paul Bunyan. We don't have the luxury to be a Mark Twain. We don't have the luxury to have the Alamo in that twisted history. Because, see, let me tell you what about other people. Other folk will espouse and lift up people. They're great. They did this. They did this. They'll talk about George Washington. They'll talk about Thomas Jefferson, but they will casually leave out the slave owning piece of it. But to them, these people could do no wrong. Could do no wrong. But we don't have that luxury. President Obama doesn't have that luxury. Even though President Obama was the president, if he would do something right now, and he's not the president anymore, he's a private citizen, they would try to destroy his legacy. So what I'm trying to say is we don't have that luxury. I think a couple of people may have gotten away with this. I'm going to say this. James Baldwin was who he was. Now, I'm going to give him that. James Baldwin never went to anybody's college and got a degree, but he was an intellectual. Maya Angelou led a colorful life. Now, one thing we do know that she was Miss Calypso. We did see her singing it, but I never seen her or seen any record of her being a street car driver in San Francisco. She may have been a madam, but she has had a colorful life. The one thing I am going to give Maya Angelou is that she was the Reynolds Chair at Wake Forest University. You can't take that away from her. I think she was a colorful individual. But back in the day, those people talked the talk and walked the walk. Angela Davis is now a professor at a University of California, um, you know, college. Nikki Giovanni, she taught at Virginia Tech for the longest until the Lord took her home. But let me say this. Be who you are. You don't have to make up stuff. Because what will happen is people will background and check. And now, with all of this envy and, people covet what you want. First of all, they didn't want that man at Cambridge in the first place. They don't even want qualified people in position. Look at what happened to Lloyd Austin. Look what happened to all of those high-ranking Pentagon people who were black. All of those high-ranking department heads. That man took them down. But one thing I can say about Lloyd Austin, one thing I can say about Colin Powell and the rest of those people, they were who they said they were. Even when you say who you are, live in it and move on. So what Jason Arday said that he could not read until he got to college level, and oh my God, he gave a story that was like, wow, how did you do it? But it didn't add up, and then it didn't make sense. First of all, you got your degrees fair and square. When you get your degrees fair and square, you don't need to make up fanciful stories and all of this stuff about it. Because then they couldn't get him because the university he went to cleared him of any plagiarism. Cleared him of any plagiarism. Because if it was bad, they would have rescinded everything and made him do it over again. They did. Cambridge was aware of it. They still hired him. Cambridge stood behind him. But his fanciful stories really, really got to him. Now, I'm going to tell you what some of us do. And I don't get into it. We always try to one up somebody. We always try to one up somebody. I hear it with a lot of Caucasian people. I'm hearing it with a lot of black people. Oh, my son went to Florida State University. Oh, really? Well, my daughter goes to UF. Oh, we always try. Let me tell you something. All I'm going to tell you all is the resume is exactly what it is. What you see is what you get. I did not go to an Ivy League school, nor had a desire to go to one. I went to an HBCU in the Hampton Roads area. It was what I needed. They had a bachelor's degree, emphasis in media, so I could do music and mass communication. That school was a fit for me. It's exactly what I needed. And that's where I went for undergrad and grad. Before I went there, I went to a school in Miami, which was an HBCU. It didn't work out because I would have to choose between music and mass comm, and I wanted both. As I told you all, I had to go to a community college, at least to keep the credit, so I didn't fall far behind. Left the community college, went to NSU. Wanted to go to Hampton really badly. Went on their campus, beautiful campus, but I wasn't gonna be paying all that money, and there was no air conditioning in the freshman dorm. That was back in the day. Back in the day. Had a full ride at a small regional state institution in Kansas. It was the worst decision I ever made. I made some good friends, but it told me that just because people pay for your degree, that don't mean that's where you need to go. And they didn't really have what they supposed to have, so did what I had to do there. Did not want to go to seminary. Somebody gave me an application. I filled it out, turned it back in. The next thing you know, you've been admitted. I wound up going and finished the program. I'm saying all of this because it can be verified. I'm saying all of this because what I've done can be verified. Don't make the stuff up because these people now will find you. And it ain't hard. This is why I can tell people when people talk about something, oh, that ain't real, baby, I got every transcript. And whether you like the school or not, It's regionally accredited. And see, that's why I tell people, if it's regional accredited, you can go anywhere you want to. People may not like it, but you can. I bring all of this up because now everybody's feeling some kind of way that this man who already had mental challenges is no longer with us. And regardless of some of his embellishments, he really did some cutting edge work in sociology. And not only was he a sociologist, most of his work was done in physical ed because he was an athlete. Now, the man looked a little transgender. I was like, you know, but he was an athlete. And it is not uncommon for people to go into one area and leave that area and go to another one. But the people really came down on him. And those embellished stories did not help. And black people can't do what other folk do. I know people now who shouldn't be department heads, and they are department heads. I'm serious about that. But Jason Arday is no longer with us, and he's gone. And a lot of the black faculty at Cambridge, they're living because they felt that that would never happen if that person was white. It would never happen. It's happened a few times when people were doing White House stuff, but they still got appointed. They still became an ambassador because it seems like other people can do those things, but black people can't. And what really happened was these people were saying that that man was a DEI hire. Yet, we have an administration right now with Pete Hegseth and Cash Patel, and it seems like they're trying to do on-the-job training. And what's going on with the USS Lincoln is appalling and abysmal. And let me tell you something. Trump and Hegseth don't give a damn about those men and women on that ship. And if Trump had the nerve to say they should have stayed on a little longer, that man has no empathy, no sympathy. He just thinks about himself. He will throw other folk under the bus to cover his butt. And some people really like that. But it goes to show you how fallen he is. But all I'm going to say is, black people, keep your head down. And I'm not talking about in a bad way. Keep doing your work. Let your work speak for you. And you only speak for your work when it's time for a promotion. Because let me tell you something. Everybody ain't happy because you got advanced education. Everybody's not happy because you are a Six Sigma black belt. Everybody is not happy because you got your your SHRM and your whatever they have for human resources. Everybody's not happy because you got your project management certification. Anything that's going to propel you, people are not going to feel good about it. And I'm going to tell you, it really, really shows. we think everybody is cheering for us, and everybody ain't cheering for us. And let me say this: I don't want to sound Machiavellian, but Machiavelli had some truth because everybody ain't happy for you. And I'm gonna tell you, when people can't celebrate you, and they can only celebrate your downfall, but cannot celebrate you when you were up, leave them people alone. So that's why I'm really not interested in what Ness did to Brian and all of that stuff. Baby, I'm tired of that. People can't be happy, and even with and I go back to the Brianna thing again. People can't be happy for you. You better be happy for you. You better celebrate you, because nobody else will. Well, people will, but y'all know what I'm trying to say. Because let me say this too. For my stint in the sector, it was all about comedy, laughter, uplift. Even when people came for me, I took it a different way. I didn't get upset and all of that foolishness and all of that stupid stuff, you know. And I would get a kick out of people getting mad because I didn't get mad, or I would get a kick out of people allowing me to push their buttons because it's like, dude, sis, once you click off this thing, move on. But people couldn't do that. But there's a time and place for everything. Because at the end of the day, the real deal is people can't celebrate you. People can't celebrate them. Folk have barriers that they need to climb and get over or break down that they just can't do. And my thing is a lot of projection and a lot of deflection happens. And you got to move on. And let me say this to you all. I don't care about these numbers because what I'm doing now is more productive than what I did then. And I'm not mad at what I did then, but what I did then was low hanging fruit. And you got to move on. But I'm bringing up this stuff because at the end of the day, that Jason Arday thing is very serious. And even though that's in an academic setting, I have known people in the corporate setting to get the same scrutiny. Women, black women, always get that scrutiny when they are in an upper level. And then when they exert their authority, they emotional. They be. But yet a man can do it, and he's a maverick. I'm telling you, it's out there. Now, let me say this, and I'll get to Brian Carnes, because there's a lot going on. I saw William McCray, too, so we're going to talk about that. I don't know who this Taquavius is. God bless his soul. Taquavius is no longer with us, but it has been a big issue because Taquavius had on braids and he had his booty cheeks all out and tooted out. And it was on I don't know if it was an obituary, but it did have sunrise and sunset. And I'm like, who does that? And can I say this? I don't even have a problem with how Taquavius look on that picture, but y'all know y'all could have brought that thing up so we could have got, his waist on up. We did not need to see Taquavius' black booty cheeks in them panties. God rest Taquavius' soul. And I'm not mad at Taquavius, but that ain't appropriate. It ain't appropriate for heterosexual people. It ain't appropriate, but I don't care if Taquavius was a streetwalker. you could get a better picture. And if you couldn't have gotten a better picture of Taquavius, you should have at least put it so we could see his waist and not see them draws. Baby, Taquavius is looking like Vanity Six. Oh, do you think coming out there, girl? Baby, he is giving Vanity Six. He's giving Nasty Girl. I'm like, why is you putting this on the obituary? I said, I hope it's just something to tell people to come. But even with that, don't do that. But some people don't know no better. But help your people. So Quavius got the braids in his hair, and it looked like he had on some lingerie, and then he had his booty cheeks all out. Sunrise, sunset when he left. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, could you imagine being the usher passing them? I ain't trying to be funny, but could you imagine being an usher? Could you imagine being an usher and passing out to Quavius obituary with his booty all out? I know them people's like, I know you can. I know you lying to me, girl. Ah, his name is Taquavius. I saw it on Facebook, and then Shula King talked about it. And I don't know if it's an obituary. Maybe it's I don't know. But it looked very obituary like to me, and it's a mess. Could you imagine you being an usher, you passing them things out, and you reading to Quavers, and you got to see that picture? And let me say this: I know Taquavius had other pictures because if you bold enough to take a picture like that, I know you got other pictures. But let's hypothetically say that Taquavius' family did not have any other pictures. Maybe y'all could have brought that picture up. Okay, y'all could have got his waist and stuff. Okay, but maybe the booty cheeks and stuff, and Taquavius all in panties. I'm like, Mm. So anyway, I want to talk about that. God bless us. Oof. Mm. So let me go to William McCray. Honey, somebody done got William McCray hot as fish grease. And I'm going to tell it. I'm going to tell it. So I guess William McCray was at a Church of God in Christ service. And y'all know how William McCray like to be in everybody's picture. And he knows this person and he knows that person. You know how William McCray is, right? So I guess somebody didn't want to take a picture with him, and somebody got in the lady ear, and people got a little different. People got a little different with William McCray, and he's very angry about this. William McCray, can I tell you something? Everybody don't like you. Everybody don't like you, William McCray. And a lot of people take pictures with you because you are a caricature. And some people are like, hell no, because I don't want you, or I don't want to seem like I'm endorsing or cool with this person. And them coaching people really don't like you. Some of them are scared of you because they know what you do. Some of them tolerate you because you do have a platform. But if you didn't have that platform, and if you didn't have that reputation, you wouldn't even get the time of day from them right then and there. I don't even think Larry Reed care for you. And I'm just being honest. Now, I think William McCray is hilarious, especially when you go to Popeye's Chicken. I ain't no ma'am. I'm a sir. I want my chicken like this, baby, because you know he sounds like my Angelou grandmama, and he's funny. I'm not gonna lie, William McCray is funny, but I would hang around William McCray at a restaurant for comedic value, but to be a friend and call, mm-mm, you done did too much stuff. We done seen your works. And can I say this too? I don't even have a problem with William McCray being who he is. The nails, the jangling bangles, the lace fronts, the lip gloss, the eccentric Mad Hatter hat. Be who you are. But some people don't want all that attention drawn to them. Some people are very, very practical and they don't want all of that. Now, I'm going to say this. It shouldn't be a tradition where y'all taking pictures to show off y'all clothes. And that's the problem with Kojic right now. Because Kojic was not always that way. Kojic was about modesty, not all that makeup. You didn't wear certain things. I'm being real. But now, they done let the floodgates open. Baby, it is Ebony Fashion Fair 247. The men's and the women's. But there are some people who do not want all of that hoopla. They don't want all of that around them. So, McCray, you got to step back and ask yourself, are these people really friends? Do they really like me? Or do they like my character? And you're going to find out a lot of people like the character. They like the character. Baby, I can watch William McCray all day, especially when he was shuttling them people in that church van, and he was going off on them old women. Get on in here. Get on in here. You should be talking to the old saints like that. And William McCray would go on, baby, I'm telling you, I was living for that. He had on polyester. All right, you all. I am back. I do apologize. So what I was saying is, a lot of people just don't like William McRae. A lot of people don't like all of that over the top stuff. William McRae to me is what Salty Santana is to rap. William McRae is to Church of God in Christ. So I just think it's interesting. Everybody's not gonna want to be around you, and William really think that these people really like him, and they really don't. And I'm not saying that to be negative. These people really don't. Let me tell you something. I don't care how accomplished that I can become. There are always going to be some people who have issues with me because of who I love. And again, and I'm not looking for anybody's validation. I'm not looking for anybody's approval, but I don't need to be tolerated. I go where I'm celebrated, not tolerated. And I don't have a problem because at the end of the day, everybody's not going to like you. And William has burned a lot of bridges. He said a lot of things about a lot of people. And it seems like where he goes, folk want to fight him. And so you got to realize that if you have a controversial background and you are always involved in controversy, everybody ain't going to like you. And some people do not want to be associated with that controversy. Let's even go to B Slade. When Tone was Tone, them people probably knew Tone was gay, even when he was Tone. But he had a wife, and he was singing "Make Me Over" because that boy can sing. But when he became B Slave, folk didn't want to take no pictures or no nothing. Because again, people don't want to be associated because they feel like if I take a picture with him, that means I approve this. And then you got to realize that since Kojic is so group speak, since they are so group think, if they see you with somebody that they don't like, then you are labeled as well. And nobody wants to be labeled with William McRae. Some people don't. So they don't want to seem like they're endorsing that. So the lady didn't want to take no picture. It's interesting. It is interesting. So William McRae is kind of upset because of that. But William, you got to be honest with yourself, and you got to be realistic. Everybody is not going to like you. Everybody don't like how you come out. Some people love you for you. Some people love your flamboyant, your colorful way of doing things, your speaking, and I see that you done teamed up with the man who be eating chicken and stuff and laughing at you and stuff. That works perfectly. That works perfectly. But everybody don't want to be involved. Let me tell you who else now is taking a stance, and Kev on stage. Oh, they got problems with Kev on stage now because Kev on stage is saying, y'all need to leave gay people alone and so on and so forth. And Kev on stage is not gay. He's not gay, but he's calling some stuff out. And now he's the enemy. Because if you don't agree like us, and if you don't do like us, and if you don't dress like us, then you the enemy. And it's that group thing. And people can't have a mind of their own. And then people want them to go against their own kids and stuff. I mean, it's just crazy. Yolanda Adams. Oh, my God. Even with her. Because these folk know the truth. These people know these gospel artists have been with people for years. For years. And nobody don't say nothing about it because they don't want to mess up their money. Let me tell you something. They will talk about Donnie McClurkin behind his back like a dog. Do you hear me? Donnie could say he was delivered. Them folks still gonna say, child, he ain't delivered because that's how they do. And y'all trying to prove yourself to people who already don't like you because even if you did it in the first place, they don't think you can be delivered or they always question it because that's who you were in the first place. Talk about Hezekiah Walker. Talked about Orlando Draper, rest his soul. Still talking about Ricky Dillard. The Walls. Can I go on? Because at the end of the day, that's who they were. And this is the thing. Church folk, okay, when you don't say nothing. But when you declare it, that's when we got a problem. It's just, so again, y'all can stay in those cubby holes and let people, but that's what it is. William McCray, they think you gay. They think you a flamboyant gay. You try to talk about something you doing like Daddy Grace and stuff. No, I ain't never had for 1 minute that Father Divine Daddy Grace was gay. Yeah, he had long fingernails and he had long hair, but the man was Cape Verdean. He was from Cape Verde. He was mixed with Portuguese. He could get away with it. You can't. Let me say this, you all. I have a friend now, and her son is female to male. FTM. That's what they call it. Now, the son is getting out of the military because a lot of people have been covering. But this son worked for John Lewis when he was living. This son has a master's degree from a flagship, renowned state institution. This person is happy with their life. So, yeah. I go there with William McCray with that because my thing is those people don't like you because they think you gay, they think you flamboyant, they think you messy, they seen your work, and the people like your caricature, but they don't like your character. And that's the real deal. So it ain't no need to be mad. Hang with people who celebrate you and not people who tolerate you. Because it seems like a lot of people tolerate you and not celebrate you. Let me go to Brian Carn now. Let me say this. Everybody has a decision and a choice of who they want to follow. I've seen Brian Carn, and Brian Carn throws a good show. I've seen how Brian Carn treats his musicians, and no one is above the law. I'm not above the law. Nobody's above the law. And this is the thing. Brian Carn, and this is what he's going to do. I know it. I know it. I know it. Brian Carn is going to go to jail. He's going to have an epiphany and he's going to have an awakening. And Jesus done did something in his life in the prison, and he's going to have a self-realization. He's going to go back to that church, and more people are going to follow him. Watch. 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 That's what's going to happen. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but he's in prison. So now he got cred. I done went to prison. I done seen the dark place. I done did all of this stuff. And this is what I learned in prison and so on and so forth and da 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 da. Because it adds to his story. And again, it goes back to the Jason Arday situation where people take those things and add to that story. Now, let me tell you something. Brian Karn is in federal prison. He gonna be all right. Brian Karn is going to federal prison because it was tax evasion. He gonna be all right. He ain't going to no supermax. That man going to state prison. Now, if I mean, federal prison. If Brian Karn were going to state prison, baby, that would be a real story right there. Because see, state prison is rapists or grapists or whatever y'all want to call it, murderers, all of them people. Brian Karn would not last 2 minutes in state prison. He is going to federal prison. And federal prison houses more white people in comparison to, I mean, federal, and it's usually blue collar crimes, drug traffickers, the guys who were the kingpin, not the low level, but kingpin, RICO charges and stuff. So Brian Karn gonna be alright. He going to federal prison. He ain't going to state prison. He gonna be able to watch TV and stuff. He gonna be alright. He gonna have air conditioning. Because they have air conditioning in federal prison. They don't have air conditioning in state prison. And see, that's the difference. The federal government takes care of federal prisons. But baby, them state prisons, they are funded by the state. And some of these states barely making it. Do you not know in state prison in Texas, they don't even have no air conditioning? Even in Florida. So he'll be all right. He gonna be all right. He in federal prison, I heard. I don't really know what to think about Sean Combs, y'all. I really don't. But yeah, so Brian Karn is going to federal prison. He gonna be okay. Uh, Let me say this: this Epstein thing is getting on my nerves, and I want somebody to be arrested because we have a lot of victims out there, and there are a lot of people who are hurting, and this man has ruined a lot of people's lives, and there are a lot of people who went to Zorro Ranch, Epstein Island, and I cannot understand why in foreign countries people are getting arrested, but like not one person has been arrested in the United States. And let me tell y'all something about that too. See, we want to make Illuminati, and I don't know so much about Illuminati. I don't get into the Illuminati thing. But what I do know is that wealthy people cover for each other. What I do know is that there is an architect. Somebody got goods on all of these people. All of these people. And somebody owes somebody a favor. And what happens is the architect keeps his hands out because there's no way that you can come back to him. But those lower level people, and I truly believe that people are covering for each other. I believe they're covering for each other. And I think Epstein was more powerful than people think. I think that Epstein has video stuff on people. I think he has stuff on Donald Trump. They said it's coming back up with Melania. They said Melania ain't completely telling the truth. Okay? And I believe that people are covering. And they don't tell the truth. And so I don't know about the Illuminati, but I do know that there are people who are powerful who are doing things. And like I said, when I was talking about Ernest Thomas yesterday, and I clarified what I said because Ernest Thomas is doing a lot of shorts, and the shorts really don't give you the full picture of the full interview, which I happen to see. So Ernest Thomas did not get on his knees, but he was telling people somebody wanted him to get on his knees, and another person wanted to put on the glasses because they wanted the Raj. And this is at his height. This was not at a low point. This is at his height as Raj on what's happening. And so he was saying that you wouldn't believe the people who are doing this. And he mentioned Marlon Brando. Now, y'all, I know it sounds funny, but I was actually looking at a YouTube clip with Sean Cassidy and David Cassidy's daddy. And he was bisexual. And he was married to Shirley Jones. Okay, the Partridge Family. And what really came out is he had a relationship allegedly with Cole Porter, who was much older than he was, but that's how he got his start. And y'all know David Cassidy and Sean Cassidy were teenage heartthrobs. Well, they got it from their daddy. And so I don't put anything past anybody. I do believe that there are a lot of things, and I do believe the wealthy they keep tabs on people. I truly believe I'm not a Mason. I'm not in that secret society. But I believe the secrets are what are you willing to do? And are you willing to keep these secrets? Are you willing to do business off the books? I know what you did last summer. You know what XY did. And as you climb, the more you grow, the more you know. The more you climb, the more you see. And some people can't handle that. And I truly believe it is about information gathering. I believe that it's about helping people get wealthy, doing favors, and da da da. And everybody is in it, and nobody ain't saying nothing about it because everybody's involved. And if you go down, you going down. But the people who are at the tip top always keep their hands clean. I just think that that's the yeah, yeah, yeah. Indiana has been going through a whole lot. Um, that water in Indiana is something else. Yeah, they've been going through a whole lot in Indiana. But that's what I believe. Thank you, spoken word. But that's what I believe. I don't know if it's so much Illuminati, but I think that fraternities do it. I think that secret societies like Skull and Bones do it. I think that all of these secret societies just groom people for bigger secret societies. I think Boulay do it. I'm just saying. And I'm not anti whatever, but I do think that it's about information and doing favors and all of this stuff. Yeah. And I don't believe that some of these people lose life because they did it to themselves. So those are my thoughts, you all. Those are my thoughts. So yeah, I I think that world events are planned. Um, yeah, I think people are sometimes used as pawns on a chess. I think that those people who think they are elite are they don't care about you, me. They will close down a factory in a hot minute because it's about winning. It's not about people. It's not about thinking about people. It is always about how I can get ahead. They don't think of themselves as citizens of the United States or citizens of Canada. They think of themselves as citizens of the world. And that's how they think. Girl, no. Kimmy, baby, when I tell you, these people doing too much. So no, I ain't seen the birthday picture, baby. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't have a problem with the sector, y'all. I just don't. I'm not. I'm just tired of seeing. I'm just tired of seeing dysfunction celebrated. I'm tired of seeing dysfunction celebrated. I'm tired of making fun of dysfunction because dysfunction ain't really funny. Mental illness is not really funny. And again, I think that was my big push to move because baby, when she talking about this lady who is accomplished and got the goods, and then she don't even know them people like that, but she act like she know them people like that, and then she wanna get with the lady because she said that um, she was so mad that she got her hot dogs and a hamburger and no ribs. And, girl, I'm like that lady don't have no. Girl, that lady, oh Jesus, it was just so no. It was like Then she talking about the man, mama, and no, no, no. Hold on for a minute, y'all. I don't got time for that crazy foolery. Y'all can look at that dysfunction. I don't have time for it. Hold on for a minute, y'all. What's up, Viv?
Hi, Jay Wilson. How are you?
How you doing? I'm doing all right, Viv. We just talking about world events and stuff like that, and just we doing other things. What's going on with you?
I see we doing other things. I see we doing other things. Jay
Hmm.
Wilson,
Yeah.
guess what?
What?
Guess whose birthday coming up? Y'all,
Who?
I'm coming upon 57. Yes, God.
Oh my God! Come on, Viv. Happy birthday. Ooh, you know you're gonna talk about that. Ooh, he ain't even know her birthday. No.
Y'all,
But
it ain't,
happy
he know.
birthday.
Y'all, listen, he really does know my birthday because I remind him every year. So that's good because he have to remind me of his too. Because he know we don't write birthdays down. We just don't do that.
Cause there ain't no friends on YouTube.
Ain't no friends on YouTube.
We just business associates.
I
So
want to say good
anyway,
morning to everyone. And Jay Wilson, listen, you're right. Federal prison is nothing like state prison. State run prisons are a little different than federal run prison. State run prisons and a little sketchy. Federal prison, that's why they call it club fed.
unless you get into Supermax, and Supermax are for the maximum security people, but everybody ain't Supermax. So yeah, the real Tanisha JPhD said happy birthday, Bill.
Thank you so much, darling. Y'all listen, but it ain't till next week. I was just messing with Jay. I like coming up here picking at Jay because I do. Yeah, my
Yeah,
birthday is for Sunday.
yeah, it's a lot going on in the world right now, and so we were talking about Jason Arday, who was the youngest professor at Cambridge, and so people were trying to say that he plagiarized, but he had been cleared. But the right wing was really focusing on him. But the thing is, he was so out there, and his story was so like he said that he didn't learn how to read and stuff until he was at college, and people were like, no. And then, like he said, he didn't speak at a certain age, and some people were like, no, they were disputing what he was saying. So not only did the plagiarism charge hurt him, but then all of this other stuff, and people start digging in his life to the point where he couldn't take it. He was already autistic, and so unfortunately, he took his own life. Unfortunately, and so a lot of black people are upset because There are white people who have plagiarized and they have done the same thing, but they have not gotten that scrutiny because of who they are, but because he was black and he was getting that attention, then they really want to take him down a peg. And that's why I was telling black people, be who you are. We don't have that luxury to embellish and reinvent ourselves to be this and this, because other people do. And we've seen it and how people celebrate them reinventing. That's what they call it, reinventing. But when we do it, it's a whole nother thing. And so he's no longer with us. He had two children and a wife, and yeah, he couldn't take the pressure, and so we
Jay
were talking
Wilson,
about that. Yes.
let me explain something to you. As a black person, we cannot take um any confidence. That's the best way to put it. We can't put confidence in what these folks tell us. People will
Mm,
they'll beat you up in 1 minute, and the next minute they'll be calling for your head. And you know this, and
yes.
I know this. And I'm going to
Yes.
say this right now. For instance, with me writing for the paper, I got people walking up to me, hugging me. Oh my God, thank you for putting McCormick back on the map. Thank you for telling it like it is. It's mostly this sector of white people here in McCormick that, as long as you're doing what they want you to do, big ups to you. But the minute they tell you to do something, you don't do it. Off with your
And
head. And
and
they
that's the
get,
thing, man. That's the thing,
and
and you really find out how people are. And I'm so glad you brought that up because you probably get information that other people don't even know. You probably know things that other folk don't, and this is why I say it's so important because again, you know, when black people do stuff, oh my God, this, and we want to say the names and stuff. But when white folk do stuff, yeah, like this Nolan Wells situation, we know that if that were black people and that was a white young man, them black people would have been held. They would have been questioned, every last one of them. But because it's the opposite, we don't even get that. But you, as a reporter, know these things. Go ahead,
Jay,
Pierre.
listen, I am right now. Okay, so right now I'm working on the data center story in my town.
Hmm.
All right, so the company that's doing the data center, they're kind of having conversations with me. And my thing is this: I told them whatever you don't want on the record, don't tell me, or tell me that you don't want it on the record. Because if you don't tell me, don't put it on the record, it's going on the record. So I'm upfront with them. You know what you always say: you can't do business with a person if they doing it in bad faith. Ain't that what you always say?
Correct. Don't negotiate with people in bad faith.
So I let them know, listen, this was going to happen. If you don't tell me not to put it in there, it's going in the store. And they have been pretty good with me and forthcoming to a certain point. Um, but they know we got a common enemy. Them people up there in Savannah Lakes Village. And I'm gonna say that because I know them people up in Savannah Lakes Village, they don't care no more about me than they care about them. So
But this
that's
is
all I'm
the
gonna
thing
say
about
about
the
it.
data centers. I'm anti data center until we get more information.
Well,
I
that is the thing I'm getting at, Jay. I am
Go ahead.
I'm letting these people know, listen, I just want information. Listen, I ain't got no dog in this fight. Like I told the man and his wife, I ain't got no dog in this fight. Cause guess what? After my daddy died, I'll pack my dogs up. We'll get in the camper and we'll be out. We'll be out like a scout on a new route. I ain't gotta stay in McCormick. So if it's that bad, I'll be out of here. But for the most part, I'm just trying to find out what's what for now. And I mean, they've been pretty nice and stuff, and they've
They're
been
gonna be
open to
nice.
me.
They're
But
gonna be nice. But I'm
but
gonna say we had a
I don't
situation
trust
in.
them. I don't
Well,
trust
see,
them as
that's what
far
I'm
as I
trying
can
to
see.
say. That's what I'm trying to say. We got a situation right here in Texas where we have one, and the electric company said we can't afford this on our grid, but yet the city wanted to push it. And y'all know about Texas grid. Y'all know we had that snowmageddon, and the grid couldn't hold. So now you're getting all of these data centers, And then, like I said, I have friends who live in Abilene right now, and they have a big data center in Abilene, and the apartment prices have gone up. So now ordinary working people can't live there because they can't afford the rent. Water prices have gone up because those data centers use a lot of water, and again, the environmental impact of it. And let me tell you how I found out about the data centers. They put a data center in Memphis, not too far from the airport. There is a predominantly black neighborhood in that area, and people started getting sick. And no, and so when that data center started coming, people started getting sick. And then they started looking at with night vision all of the all of the exhaust and all of the stuff that's coming out and the noise and the humming. And it was crazy. And that's how I found out about data centers, but it got crazier because now they're putting one in Louisiana, Vivian, and the city gave them so many tax breaks, but the town is broke. So somebody got some money, but the city didn't get the money.
Well,
The
Jay,
roads are not the roads are not being fixed. The buses they still have problems with that. And then the people who they promised the jobs to, they're not getting the jobs because they contract the workers, and no one is getting the job. Now the people who own restaurants, they are getting a bonanza because the people are coming in. But those are certain people who are winning. And so those are my concerns. Go ahead.
what I'm going to say, what I'm going to say is you are right. Like, for instance, our town in McCormick is the only place in McCormick, in South Carolina, that does not have a natural gas line. We don't have a natural gas line.
Hmm.
So that is one of the main reasons the data centers can't get here. We ain't got no natural gas line.
But they'll get one for them.
That, listen to what I'm saying. So that is what they're trying to do. They trying to get the natural gas line. They've been trying to sell us on the natural gas line since I started. Uh, since I have started reporting. And then another thing that they're trying to get is, okay, so we don't have an actual. We got an airport, but it's not an actual airport. It's like a landing strip. Like you can fly your little prop plane in.
Yeah, yeah, I got you.
So they're trying to make it to where, like, okay, so these corporations, they'll be able to land their private planes in here. And we're close to the Masters. We're only like 45 minutes away from the Masters. So another thing they're trying to
So
do
if you
is,
don't know what the Masters is, it's Augusta. It's the most prestigious country club, Augusta, where they have the Masters tournament. Go ahead, Viv.
right. Uh so what they're trying to do is they're trying to build us up as, okay, you can't get your prop plane down in Augusta doing Masters week. It ain't happening. But come on over here to McCormick, and we'll have somebody that's going to chauffeur you down there. You get what I'm saying? So that's another industry they trying to build here. Only
Yeah,
issue is we ain't got no gas. They can fly the plane in here, but they ain't got no place to fuel up.
but they will. But let me say this, Vivian. Money will do that, and that's how they will sell it. But at the end of the day, it's all about them and it's never about you all. And if you don't have a city council that's going to be looking out for the people, then they will fill their pockets and they will get their pockets filled and then they'll forget about the town.
Well,
And
they
I've
have
seen that
already
happen.
they had listen at that data center meeting where they had the meeting with us. I've seen concerned city and county folk. They done already told them, listen, if this zoning go through, y'all asses is out.
Oh
And
yeah, cause white,
they told
cause
each
white
and
folks don't
every
want that
party.
either. See, that's the
They
thing.
called them by name.
But let me say this, Bill. When black people going through, nobody don't give a damn. But when white people are affected, everybody want to have an issue with it now because data centers have been here. but they weren't necessarily affecting white folk. And it's almost like Anniston, Alabama. You know, when Monsanto had that plant and it was killing them people, nobody ain't say nothing. But then when white people start getting cancer, then we wanted to make sure everybody heard about it. And see, it's sad that we should be concerned. And I'm gonna say this and I'll let you speak, Vivian. What happens to the least of them is gonna happen to the greatest of them. And this is why people gotta be concerned. If black people are getting cancer, somewhere down the line, white folk gonna get it too. Go ahead, Viv.
Okay, so where they're talking about putting a data center in McCormick, the proposed place, they got 1,000 acres, and they say, it's supposed to be this buffer of so many trees, which means no noise. You won't see it. It won't be the unsightly scene from the street because you can't see it because of the trees. The trees are going to buffer the noise. But they made a mistake. They said it's going to be a 1 gigawatt turbine powering these things. It was an environmental lawyer there. She said there is no way that they can contain. She said they're going to have to show me how they're going to contain the pollution from this
Yeah,
one. She said, and this is the thing. She said you can't stop air,
you can.
and so which means since you can't stop air, you can't stop the pollution that this turbine is going to give out.
This
Off.
is why I brought up
And
Memphis. That's why I brought up Memphis because them people are getting cancer, and they don't know why. But nothing started until they got that data center. Go ahead.
well, this is the other thing in reference to that. All right, so we got this 1 gigawatt. Now, this is I didn't say this. This is what their representation said. Their representative said that that's what they're going to have. Now, in as much as having that, so that was one concern. The other concern was as long as it was the black folk that was down there, they ain't care. Mm-mm. Now the white people are trying to get the black folk involved because it's it's going. They know that they know if the gas line comes, which way is it coming from? They know they're going to try and bring it through Lincoln County, Georgia. Lincoln County, Georgia, they're already starting to gear up for their fight. And if it's coming through Lincoln County, Georgia, they're about to eminent domain some people lane
Yeah, yeah,
to put this thing
yeah,
in there. And the other
yeah.
thing they're upset about is they're like, well, which way is these people coming in? We don't want them coming in. Now they're going to be tearing up our roads and things of that nature because it's butted right up next to our back door. And how can they say they got the tree buffer if they got an opening there for people to go in and out? So it's a whole lot of. Listen, Jay, I got some information I can send you and I can share with you on what they're saying in reference to data centers here. I got the information,
Well, I got information for what they doing in Texas
and I
because it's not good. And I mean, I'm telling you, where I live, you're dealing with homes that start from 250 all the way up to $1 million, and folk ain't trying to hear that. And right now, it's not even close to. The thing is, they want to build a housing community, and even though the data center will be away from my house, I'm concerned because of the electric and the water it consumes.
well, my
And our cooperative, let me tell you something. My electric bill runs no higher than 125. My water bill $30, 30 to $50. So now my stuff gonna have to go up, and no, and again they cannot guarantee that. And Texas already have a problem with the grid, and that's why people are pressing Governor Abbott. They're saying, well, we don't really know if the grid could hold. If y'all couldn't hold the grid for Snowmageddon, how y'all gonna now add these massive data centers with this, and the grid ain't even holding during regular time. And those are some really, really valid concerns.
well, my thing is this. You never know what's going on and how they're doing things. Oh, but this is the other thing. So
Yeah,
I,
Sheila, I hear you. Go ahead.
I feel this is the other thing I wanted to tell you about when you talk about people and you can't trust folks. You got to watch the people that's yelling the loudest. Why are you yelling the loudest and hooping and hollering about it? Not all of them. I'm saying some. So, for instance, the folk up in Savannah Lakes, right? They're hollering about they don't want the grid, they don't want it now. But according to what I've been seeing, hearing, and reading about, they are well. I from what I hear and what I see, and I'm at the meetings. Those folks are the ones who's going to benefit the most from this. Why? Because they're talking about infrastructure, roads, and things of that nature. They're going to be the ones who get the new roads. They're going to get the ones be the ones who get the new water pipes. They're going to be the ones who get the new because they're a community. Then I talked to their marketing person. Their marketing person told me, "Oh yeah, we're trying to make this a gated community."
But Savannah
And
Lakes don't
then,
want to pay. They don't want to pay high electric bills, and they don't want to pay higher water bills.
right,
That's
but
what they don't
now,
want.
but this is the other thing. Now, Jay, you know I'm nosy. Oh, wait a minute. No, I'm no longer nosy. I'm newsy. According to word on the curb is, they were telling these folks that they don't want it in, but they were also on trying to backdoor deal and try to get buy up the land so that they can make the deal with the folks. You get what I'm saying?
Hmm. Yeah,
So that they
yeah.
can get in on the deal. The other thing is, so when I talk to the landowners, I said, the folks up in SLV keep saying that you guys are greasing the pockets of all of these politicians and y'all giving this money to these folks. What's going on? The man said, nah, they just mad because we not greasing their pockets.
Well, it
He
is
said
what
we're
it
not
is. But my thing, but I'm gonna
he,
say this: if your city council is not looking out for the people, then they're gonna sell you all a line, hook, and sinker. Because again, if this were to happen, y'all should be getting new school buses. Y'all should be able to do capital improvement because y'all need to give us something. What's happening is these towns are giving these data centers everything and they're not getting anything, and only a few people at the top are making the money, and the town still is in shambles, and the only people who are making money are the businesses, and even that is temporary, because once the data centers are finished and everything is established, those people are gone. You see what I'm saying? So you making your bonanza now, but it's only temporary, and those people are gone. And I know right now they're getting ready to build something in Pecos, Texas. Pecos is
well
a small town,
my
and
biggest question
they're getting police officers from other places because they're not even hiring the people in Pecos.
well, my
They
biggest question to them, Jay, was where is this stuff in writing? I need to see a written agreement. Do you
you
have
may
a
not
written
get wait, hold on, hold on.
listen,
They may not give you a written agreement
I
because
know
a
they're not.
lot of these people are under NDA, so they can't even talk.
Okay, so this is the thing. That's one of the questions I asked this company. They said no, they're not under NDA. They haven't had any county council sign NDA. All the county council said they have not signed NDAs. Um, I asked them, can they show me a comparable place? They told me no. And they told, it's Jay, if I send you my questions, you'll probably be like, "These are some good questions." And I
Well,
ain't
they
had to,
should be because you gotta ask questions and you gotta ask the hard questions because if you don't, then it gives them away, and people don't like asking folk the hard questions.
well,
But
Jay,
my
I'm
thing
gonna
is,
send
what are
you
you
a
gonna
copy.
do for the county? Go ahead.
I'm gonna send you a copy of the questions that I'm gonna email you a copy of the questions that I emailed them because I said let me get them 5 questions because I just want them to answer some of this harder stuff. Then I ended up sending them 4 follow-up questions.
Yeah, they
Now,
don't want to
now
answer. They don't
these
want to answer, and they don't want to put themselves in a position where they gotta backtrack and say, "Oh, we made a mistake." They're very shrewd. They're very smart. and their whole goal is to make you feel comfortable and friendly with them. But at the end of the day, they're like Trump. Once they get in, they're in. Once they get in, they're in.
Well,
And so that's why people are really really focused on making sure that they're doing what they need to do. So
well,
yeah.
I'm gonna send you a copy of the questions. You can tell me what you thought about the questions I asked and the answers that they gave me. Listen, Jay,
Mm.
it has been a wild ride here. Right now, I'm also in the process of working on a story about the bond referendum. They're trying to do a new bond referendum for our school because we need to. They want to build an auditorium, and they trying to do a state of the art school. But my question gonna be to them is, how the hell y'all going to justify when y'all talking about you lost a couple kids this year?
Yeah. What is the auditorium? Is it going to be for not only the schools but the community? Is it going
It's
to be
gonna
big
be,
enough to have graduation in it? What
yes,
is the whole
that
thing?
okay, so that's what it is. They're gonna have graduation. It'll also be a place, we'll have a place in McCormick where we can have indoor concerts. Because right now we got a gymatorium. And you know what the hell a gymatorium is. A
It's a
damn
gym in the auditorium.
and with the dang going gymatorium, Shay, you know the acoustics in here is awful. You sang in a gymatorium, you might as well be singing in a damn in the subway with a bathroom, noise hitting you from every which way. If the man on the piano playing louder than the guy with the drums, it's ridiculous. And the guitar, everything is sounding a mess. You know that. You
Hmm.
know it. So
Well, it needs to make money, and somebody needs to be over, and it needs to make money, and it needs to generate money. Because if it's just sitting there and y'all only using it for graduation, then is it really worth it?
so
I'm just saying, it got to make money.
and it'll make money. You know why it'll make money? Because it'll be the only place that you can have a concert in town. And the acoustics is good. So we have a lot of gospel groups here. One of the gospel groups, the Flying Clouds. I was talking to the guy that runs the radio station, and he sings with the Flying Clouds. According to him, they got a Stella and a Dove award. But I told him I need to interview them, and I need them to show me that they got a Stella and a Dove
So my
award.
thing is this.
What do you call
First
it?
of all, how
Nomination.
many? What is your following? And could y'all fill this up? And what is the proof? Because I don't care who you are. My thing is, can you feel it? Can you feel it? Who are the neighboring people who are going to come to McCormick? Do you got people? Because you got to realize that it sounds good and people think they strong, but can you fill that place up?
Jay,
Is it going to
it
break even or what?
it'll fill up. It'll fill up. They'll have enough people because you got to remember, it ain't that we got so many people in McCormick, but when they do gospel concerts here, we've had Lee Williams here, we've had
Okay.
different concerts. So and the flying clouds down here, they're one of because it's a homegrown group. Whenever they have a concert, it's like they have a lot of big name people here.
Okay.
So they have a lot of groups.
Long as long, let me tell you something. I'm not. I ain't look. Now here come the business to me. I ain't mad because you know what you got, but you need to prove it and you need to put it on paper, and then let's test that out. Because at the end of the day, the money it's gonna tell, and all the people willing to pay the price to see you, that's going to take care of this auditorium. Because again, if you got a state of the art auditorium, you got to pay the sound engineer. Everybody can't be up in that sound. You got to pay the sound engineer. You got to have the people there. You got to have security. So there are a lot of things that go with that. And are you willing to pay it? And so are you going to break even? Are you going to be able to pay your people? And at the end of the day, will that auditorium get back that money and it generates that money? I ain't mad at it, Vivian, because they may be who they say they are. But this is where I go back to with
Gonna
us
make the
as
money.
black
And
people.
listen, the money is going to the school. This it's the school district. It ain't got to do with just them. I'm just saying they were one of the groups that would, support.
Yeah, yeah.
But here go lies the other thing. In reference to all of this, somebody asked me what city is number
Augusta,
10.
Augusta, Augusta.
Let me tell you where we are. We are a very centrally located county. McCormick is a very centrally located county. We are very close to Clemson. We are very close to Aiken. We are very close to Columbia. We are very close to Augusta, Georgia. We are 2 hours from Atlanta, Georgia. We are very centralized. One of the things we had DEA come in here and talk to us on Saturday, Jay, at Coffee and Conversations. You know what they were saying? McCormick
What?
has to be very careful because of where we're located. They are finding out that a lot of drug cartel folk are moving into Aiken, South Carolina. Those folks are bringing drugs and smuggling drugs through small towns like McCormick because they can't go up I-85 no more because you got a big police presence there. So they're
Hmm.
finding alternative drug routes. And one of the things they're doing, they're moving into like Aiken and they're coming through using little small towns like McCormick. And McCormick is very centralized. We are on the path to Greenville. We are on the path to Columbia. We're centrally located. So they can come the back way from Augusta. I mean the back way from Atlanta, hit Augusta, and we can hit they can come to us through Aiken, going to Greenville, going up north towards New York area to distribute, going to Columbia, going out east towards Columbia to distribute towards Myrtle Beach and things of that nature. So that is why they're going to Greenville, going to Clemson, going to that area, Spartanburg. So that is why DEA was here talking to us. They're trying to convince them that they need to go ahead and have a DEA person assigned to our area because this is what's happening. It's a reality. It's reality. I'm gonna tell you, people think living in a small town is just like, oh, you're living in a small town. Everybody's having fun. But it is a whole lot more going on here than I would have ever imagined. If you just walk around with your head in the sand and in a cloud and you don't want to see nothing, you'll never see a thing.
Well,
A
you're in the
thing.
know, and a lot of people are not in the know, and knowledge is power, and that's why people want to keep people ignorant.
And the other thing is, I'm going to say this to my people. I love y'all to life and back. Social media is great, but social media is not your only news. One of my things is I've been telling my local people, y'all got to pick up the newspaper. Why we need to read that newspaper? We can learn everything we want to learn on Facebook. No, you can't. You can find out a lot of rumors and a lot of people what people want you to know. And a lot of people are not researching. They just saying this and they taking what somebody else said for gospel. One of the things I say when you dealing with local newspapers, you have another different aspect of it. And I think I'm luckier and in a better position than most people on my newspaper staff. You know why? Because everybody there, they got the same thing. Because they all from Lincoln, Georgia, and they all got same thing. You get what I'm saying? We're
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
But
yeah, and that's the biggest thing. You gotta do something different, and you have access to people that they probably will not have access to. So I just think that that's big. But again, a lot of this stuff is about information. Knowledge is power, and people can do things. I mean, this is why I have an issue now with these people in Congress and stuff with insider trading. I'm with Wes Moore. No one should be doing inside trading and doing all of this stuff knowing that you got the information ahead of time because, again, you have a front row advantage and it's unfair to the regular people. It's a lot of stuff that's going on. And I was listening to Andy Bashir's podcast. Andy Bashir's the governor of Kentucky, but he had Charles Barkley on, and Charles Barkley, I don't agree with everything, but when he said that it ain't no Republican and Democrat, it's rich people against poor people. That's it. That's it. And it's people not trying to share wealth and power, and that's it. If I can keep you down, that means I can be wealthier. I don't want to see you come up because you see it. This is why the elites didn't want regular folk to go to college because people might get some knowledge and want the same thing. And I look at that kind of stuff. Knowledge is power, and this is why I tell people that's why they put stuff in a book and they do all of that because they know that some of these people are not going to look at it. And so it is what it is. I mean, Vivian, you have to do research and you got to do investigation because now you're in this new vein of reporting. But it just opens your eyes to what people don't really know. And I mean, whether it's water quality, all of that stuff, even development, they'll take black people land in a heartbeat, but they'll do things when white people complain. I
Jay,
mean, it's there. Go ahead.
you are going to probably agree with me when I say this. You also have to be careful. We as people have to be careful because what we see as the way we classify the different social economic classes is different from the way they classify the different social economic classes. So, for instance, I had lunch with a lady on last week, and she and I we were talking, and she was like, "Oh yeah, you know, Roy and I, we're just middle class folk. Oh, we don't have that much money." And I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how much money they got, other people up there in Savannah Lakes got if you don't have that much money. You just sat here and told me your husband has been retired for 15 years and has not had to touch his Social Security, and he just now touching getting his Social Security after 15 years. You're sitting here telling me that your family does not have some measure of wealth, and you telling me that your husband's mom was in a nursing home for years, paying $10,000 a month for a private room. You telling me you don't have some measure of wealth, and your daughter's husband just retired out of the Navy as the Naval District of Washington's commander. You understand
But
what I'm saying, Jay?
that's how they see it. That's how they see it. And this is why I go back to affordable housing and fair housing. Affordable housing, affordable to who? Fair housing is it's fair across the board because based on your income, this is fair to charge you this. Affordable housing, I see people get caught up in that. Affordable may not be affordable for me. Affordable to you may not be affordable to me. Fair is fair. And there's a difference between fair housing and affordable housing. And I tell people that don't get caught up in the nuance. And it's really interesting to you all. Since we're on this topic, I got a little glimpse of the Housewives reunion when Phaedra was going at Pinky and Pinky was going at Phaedra. And Phaedra is a lawyer for a reason. Phaedra is a lawyer for a reason. And she brought up Pinky's bankruptcy. And Pinky tried to say, well, I started over and da 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 da, and I got businesses. And Pinky tried to come and say, well, you ain't a good lawyer. And Phaedra said, I was Bobby Brown's lawyer for 8 years, sweetheart, and so on and so forth. And Phaedra does have the goods. But what Phaedra was trying to say is, Pinky, you messed up other folk money. Other people invested in your company. You didn't go bankrupt by yourself, baby. You took other people's money. And I don't think folk caught that. Phaedra is a setup queen, and I'm telling you, she's a lawyer for a reason. And I'm sorry, Viv, but that just happened to cross my mind because I don't watch The Housewives that often. But I think Phaedra was saying, Pinky girl, you took other folk money, black folk money and white folk money, but especially black folk money, and you lost their money because you filed for bankruptcy. And it's not, I got something against people who file bankruptcy, but you use other folk money and people believed in you. So I want to throw that out there. But Phaedra, again, like she told Sheree with Bob, she said, where's the case now? Oh, okay. Baby, let me tell you something. Phaedra ain't dumb. I'm going to give Phaedra her props. Now, she didn't make herself look good on that pregnancy situation and that Apollo situation, but Phaedra ain't dumb. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Okay, go ahead, Viv. I'm sorry, I had to throw
No,
that
you
out there.
good. Now, speaking of housewives, for those of you who was wondering where Augusta is, Augusta is where Phaedra had that baby.
Did she have it in Augusta? Because I thought Phaedra was from Athens. Or did she have the baby in Augusta?
No, Phaedra came. That first baby, she drove to Augusta and had that baby.
Okay.
That's how close Augusta is to Atlanta, y'all. She drove down to the MCG and had that baby. That's how close Augusta is to Atlanta. That's what I'm telling y'all. That's why I'm saying I'm very centrally located. So that's why I be telling folks that's down in the Atlanta area when they be talking crazy to me, please stop it. Because I'm close enough to come and touch you. I'm just saying.
Girl, I ain't trying to touch none of these people. It
I'm
ain't
not
even worth it.
look, I'm
Child
look,
bad.
right now all I'm trying to touch is trying to see how many dollars I can touch with doing this reporting thing. Jay, I'm telling you, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I am having such a good time reporting. It is so much fun. It's so much more fun than I thought it would be. Um,
Well, it's fun because you're finding out a lot of information, and knowledge is power. And I just think that people really need to get into that. I'm going to say this is one reason why I am not trying to waste a lot of time with going back and forth with people in in the beef sector. And I mean, I'm not changing my platform, I ain't doing none of that. But there is a whole world out there, and I am learning some interesting facts. And knowledge is definitely power. And yeah, and I don't have anything against the sector. I appreciate the sector because they embraced me. But when it's time to go, it's time to go. And I just think that you just get tired of the dysfunction and people just fighting amongst each other where there are bigger issues out there. And I know people try to escape and they do this escapism, but real life is knocking on your door. You know, you got people who are trying to take Social Security. Everybody's going to get old. Everybody's going to need their Social Security at one point in time. So, you know, you need to be concerned about that. The data centers, they can put one in the suburbs. They're doing that. See, people need to be concerned about those things. And I just think that escapism is good for a minute, but you can't do it forever. And I just think that's the big thing. And the people who are being adversely affected, like with Section 8 vouchers and how they're changing the rules with Section 8 and how they're changing the rules with SNAP and adding these work requirements and stuff. And I'm like, baby, a lot of people in the beef sector rely on this stuff. And I just, you know, people are living in la la land and there's a real crisis going on. And escapism is good when you go to the theater for a moment and do that, but you can't keep your head in the sand forever. And I guess that's my big thing. You cannot keep your head in the sand forever. At some point in time, you got to say, "Hey, these things are really happening." So those are my things, Viv. That's what yeah.
and you're right, Jay. You can't live in a fantasy world forever. You got to come back to reality eventually. You have to
Mhm.
see that there are things that are going on that are bigger than you, bigger than I. Uh,
Mhm.
we uh, we just can't just sit around and continue to say, nope, not in my backyard. And if I ain't see it, and if I don't listen at it, or if I don't subscribe to it, or I don't do it, it ain't happen. Just because you say that, it doesn't mean it ain't happening.
Oh, it's happening. It is happening, and I think a lot of people are going to suffer for it. You know, I was mentioning the USS Lincoln and how Trump and Hegseth act like those people are indispensable. They act like those people are pawns on the chessboard. You know, the rumor has it that women don't have enough sanitary napkins and tampons, and they said that it's dire because they haven't stopped at a port in a while. They're running out of supplies. The morale is down. It has been rumored that people are trying to go overboard, which is never good for anybody. And instead of saying, they're trying to dismiss this like this is nothing, and it is something. You can't dismiss this, and I think that's a big thing. And no wonder people don't want to go into the military. If this is what we're doing to our soldiers, then who want to go into the military? Who want to enlist? I mean, it's crazy what's going on. So I think that we need to look at that, and our government don't even care about the men and women who are fighting for the country. And if y'all don't give a damn about them folks, then I know you don't give a damn about nobody else. And that's how it comes off. And they come off like that, and I just think that is plain awful. Hey, Viv, I gotta put some gas in the car. Take over for a quick minute.
So you guys, I'm just saying, it's a lot going on. It's a lot we see out here. It's a lot people doing in the background that y'all don't know about. We as a people, we need to keep our head on a swivel, watch our 36912. Um, I'm loving life and I'm loving everybody. But we got to make sure that we take care of ourselves and the folks around us. Because these people could give less than a damn about us. Y'all understand what I'm saying? They give less than a damn about us. And we got to take care of ourselves. So hey, Itsy Bitsy, how are you, sweetheart? We got to take care of ourselves. We got to take care of each other. Listen, and I'm gonna tell y'all think I be laughing and playing when I be telling y'all that y'all need to go to these meetings, these county board meetings and stuff like that. I be serious, dead serious. Cause y'all, I wasn't going. And you couldn't pay me to go. Then all of a sudden I started going. The Bible tells us we perish for a lack of knowledge. I promise y'all. That's what the Bible tells us. We perish from a lack of knowledge. And guess what? Y'all be listening at what folk feed y'all in a spoon. Some of it be part of it be true, but they don't be telling you the whole story. So I promise, I implore you, go listen at it for yourself. Because if you don't go and listen at it for yourself, y'all gonna be, I'm telling y'all, if y'all don't go and listen at it for yourself, y'all gonna miss the whole big picture. Listen, I ain't even if I stop reporting today, I'm still gonna go to some of these meetings because some of this stuff, yeah, y'all don't know how many backdoor meetings they be having. If your town has what they call an executive meeting or a call meeting and it's public, the public can go, somebody from the public can go, I would just show up. I'd show up. And the reason I show up, because y'all ain't gonna believe the stuff that they be saying and doing in the meetings. These planning meetings they be having, y'all better start going. Cause y'all wouldn't believe the stuff that they be doing in those meetings. So for instance, I was talking to some black people around here in town, and they they do what they call bush hogging. Bush hogging is like you got this big thing that run behind your lawnmower or tractor, and what it does is it cuts down like large trees and large grass. Anyway, so the county was doing their yearly bidding, putting out the information. Hey, go and bid on, come and bid on the jobs if you want to try and get the position to go bush hog for the county. Now I done heard like 4 or 5 black people because I used to work in the store. Man, every time the county they had a position for the people to come bush hog or go cut the grass for the county, don't nobody ever know. How come this same white dude keep getting it and he could set the price for whatever he want to set it at? You know why? Because he's the only one big. You know why? Because he's the only person in the room that know that they even doing it. He the only person in the room that know that they even going to open up the bid. You get what I'm saying? He the only person in the room that know that they gonna open up the bid. And I'm just not saying my town. It's happening in everybody's town. Not just in my town, in everybody's town. I promise y'all. Y'all better go to these meetings. Because they be saying and doing some stuff that y'all don't be knowing about. And closed session meetings, that's where they get all the information and put all the information out there that they don't want you to know. And then they come back out and tell you what they want you to know. And you right, O'Shields. O'Shells. You gotta don't let them pull the wool over your eye. Jay went to go put some gas in his car. He'll be right back. O'Shells. And the other thing I would do, I would put some information, if you can find the person's the company's name and stuff, I go and try and talk to them. What they gonna do? The most they gonna do is tell you no. But the thing I tell you, when you go and talk to them, don't go at them combative. Because if you go at them combative, it's gonna make them shut down. And that's not what you want them to do. You want them to tell you what you want to know. And that's what I keep telling people. They'll tell you what you want to know. You just can't uh, you can't go at them with a bad attitude and with that rah-rah attitude, like I know you lying straight off the bat. And that's the way I approach it. Now I don't know how anybody else approach it. That's the way Vivian approached it. Y'all should see me. I'm in my kitchen. I'm digging in my refrigerator and in my pantry trying to find food to take with me to work today. Because I'm going to my fake job at the newspaper office. I think I'm gonna go live from the newspaper office today if I'm able to finish this story. I'm already late getting it. I think I look kind of cute today. I put on a little top and some shorts, not shorts, a skirt. And I'm laughing because any other place I couldn't go to work dressed like this. Talk about going to somebody's office, sitting up all day, going to make sales, ad revenues and all that stuff. I can't do that. But when you're in a small town, you can pretty much do what you want to do. They just happy I came to work. And I do a little bit of everything, y'all. Like I said, I go and make sales. I do sales avenue, sales, revenue, sales, ads. I am, oh, my book bag's so heavy. I am designing the football team supplement. What else am I doing? I am doing stuff at church. You right, O'Shells. If you can't attend in person, watch online. Because most of them online, especially if you, I know little old McCormick got their meetings online. I know y'all should have theirs online. Our school board meetings are online. Our county council is online. Board of election is not. And that's interesting too. I go to the board of election meetings, y'all. I be in there tripping. If y'all hear some of the stuff that be talked about in there. And board of elections, them the people who run the elections in the polling places. I'm just telling you, clock T. Let me see. Go to town council. Um, they have something here in McCormick called Coffee and Conversation. The sheriff does that. I go to those meetings. Y'all would not believe how much information you find out at these meetings. And every time I go, it don't be nobody there but the people from Savannah Lakes Village. And guess what? They all be chilling. They already done had a pre-meeting before they get to the meeting, so they know what they're gonna ask when they get to the meeting. And then the other thing is, we as a people, we got to stop complaining that we have no representation and we don't know what's going on. So, for instance, right now, I'm planning with the state representative can come to our church and have a conversation with us, right? On the fifth Sunday. Oh, you said what's the name of the meetings I just said? It's called Coffee and Conversations with our sheriff. Our sheriff here in town has what he calls Coffee and Conversation. And what he does is he brings
That
different people. Okay. He brings different people in. Like this week, he brought in the DEA. One week, he had the probate judge talk. One week, he had the county council members talk. Meeting he had the county commissioner talk. So he had different people that come in from different areas. And yeah, they give conversations and say what's going on. One month, he took us to the EMS and let us tour the EMS, the fire department, the coroner's office, and all that.
Yeah, Viv, a lot of people need to be involved in local government and they're not. And that's where a lot of major decisions with zoning will come in, school board comes in. I mean, business permits, all of these things. But, if you don't know, you don't know. And even when it comes to county issues and judges and how people are treated, that comes through there. And it just never amazes me how people get these judges and stuff and they are Republican and they feel certain ways about certain people, and but we don't vote. We don't think that those elections are important, and we only look at those national uh elections, not knowing that those local ones make a major difference as well, because a lot of that stuff is gonna determine your judges and your school board and what kind of books you get, and uh college readiness and stuff like that. And you don't vote,
Jay,
and the
can I
thing
say
is,
this? We are always late to the party.
we always late
We
to the party.
always
Yeah.
late to the party, and I'm going to tell you guys
Yeah,
why
but
I say
but
that.
but but look. This is what I'm saying. We're late to the party, and it doesn't. And a lot of people don't vote in those particular. It's not a lot of people voting, but those Republicans know that people are not going to show up. Thank you.
Like for
They know.
instance, yesterday I had a conversation with somebody who's my namesake. We got the same name, and she said, "Yeah, we don't participate, and we don't never go out there and know what's going on." I said, "Well, on fifth Sunday, the representative from the state will be at my church, and you guys tell your folks at your church and have somebody from your church to represent at the church." You
Mm-hmm.
know what she told me? I
What?
ain't coming out there. We ain't got no church on fifth Sunday. I said, well, that's the perfect opportunity to come out there and have a conversation with them. She said, I ain't getting up out my bed that time in the morning.
And then the next thing you
But
know,
but
they
the next
zoning.
word she said was, we don't participate. Don't nobody come to the meetings, to the Democratic Party meetings. Okay, you can't just go to the Democratic Party meetings. You got to go to all the meetings and let your voice be seen, your face be seen, and your voice be seen.
Child, they don't care about that. It's just bad, and we get caught up, and our people suffer the most because of our ineffectiveness to get up and vote and do what we need to do. But like I said, things are changing, and I'm looking at everything from the Smithsonian to this Kennedy name change. This man is evil and maniacal, and he don't care about people, and everything that benefits black people he has destroyed. And I don't think black people are seeing this. He don't want our history museum to have the right history in it. He's taking well known, well qualified black people from posts. He's doing all of this stuff, and we're not doing anything about it, and it's happening at the federal level, and also it's gonna trickle down if it's not already happening now, because and we'll sit there and endorse this man. We'll sit there and say, "Oh yeah, he doing right. I like Trump," not knowing that all of the civil rights, all of the stuff that our folks fought for, is just being dismantled. And unfortunately, whoever gets in the office, they have a lot of work ahead of them because we do not have respect of other
Jay,
countries.
we
Yeah,
don't listen at we listen at what people say. We don't see how they acted in bad faith in the past
correct.
and because and that's how they sell us a bill of goods. We don't, and a lot of the times we don't hear it for ourselves. We go on rumors. Just like, for instance, if one person said it, everybody it must be gospel. And you right, O'Shells. You need to really People really do need to start paying attention when they post public meetings, when they and this is the other thing. People talk about the church. The church used to be the community organizational place.
Yes.
Now, so like for our last election here in McCormick, we got a lot of people to go out and vote in the primary. A whole lot of people to vote in the primary. But see, one of the things people don't know that's going to be talked about at our meeting on Saturday, on the 30th, is we have a county council person here in our town. She got caught up in the redistricting. You heard what I said, Jay? The county council person got caught up in the redistricting. Now, those people that live in her district, you know what they need to be at our meeting saying? What does that mean for you? Are you still going to be able to serve for us? No, because she lives in a whole new county now.
And somebody else will come and take your district, and you don't even know them.
And you don't even know who they are. And that's where we are. So that's the issue now. And that
Yeah.
people don't even realize that she live in a whole new district. She live in a whole new
Hmm.
county now. And right now, that she's at the state level asking, well, do I finish out my term here on the county council, or do I have to get off immediately and resign my post? What happens to the district? Do we have to have a special election to elect somebody to come in my space? And then this is the other thing. If they got to have a special election to put somebody in her place, we as black people, do we have somebody to represent for us? You get what I'm saying?
Hmm. Oh, I
Some people
understand
don't,
completely.
but a lot of us don't understand that. And that's what I'm trying to tell them. Y'all crazier than hell. Y'all sitting there uh, thinking that these people won't give you anything. Because ain't nobody else gonna give you nothing. I'm just saying.
Let me tell you something. They don't get it, Biff. And again, I don't have a problem with people fighting folks online, but that same energy that you fight people online, you need to be fighting in your community. And I'm not lying. You need to be fighting in your community because at the end of the day, you don't go against your interests. You don't go against your interests. And let me say this too. I go back to that man who is a Haitian himself, has all of those Haitian restaurants that employs all of those Haitian people, but yet he voted for Trump and he's a Republican. Now his business is hurting. Now they had an ICE raid in front of his restaurant and nobody don't want to show up, according to him.
Well, this is
You're
my
not
other
part of the
thing.
one. You're not part of the 1%, and that man don't give a damn about you. But again, because you think that And again, you probably ain't even paying them people what they need to be paid. You're probably
Well,
taking advantage of people. And again, this is why I say that if God can't bless you over the few, He ain't gonna bless you over many. And if you're not a good steward over the people who are your own countrymen, then the hell with you. And that's how I feel about it.
I'm going to
Stop
say
taking
this,
advantage
Jay.
of our people. Pay the people right.
I'm going to say
You'll get.
this
Go ahead.
about the vote, about the non-voters. We got a bunch of folks who telling people don't go and vote, don't register to vote, and things of that nature. Don't tell people that. Let them register to vote, even if they don't go and vote. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to say why. People don't realize this, that most of offices you have to be a registered voter to even run. Okay, so there are a lot of offices that people want to run for later on. So these people that's running around talking about I ain't registered to vote, I'm not going to vote, and this and that and the other. You ain't got to vote, but register to vote, because later on you might decide and get a wild card off your butt that you want to run for something. You got to be a registered voter to run for some of these offices. I'm just saying. What's your thought on that, Jay? Oh, Jaden gone, drop down again. And that's what I'm saying. So if he come back. Jay, did you hear what I said when I said most of these people who keep saying they're not registered voters? I was telling them they need to go ahead and even vote. I mean, register to vote, even if they're not a registered voter, because later on, if they want to run for office, a lot of these offices that you run for, you have to be a registered voter to
God
run.
ain't trying to run for nothing. If they ain't voting, they ain't trying to run for nothing. If you ain't voting, then I sure ain't gonna vote for you. You can run for whatever you want to. It's just pure laziness. It's not knowing the struggle. It's not knowing your history. It's not knowing what your people had to sacrifice to get here. And you know, it's deep with me because I'm Southern, and I'm sure I'm not saying that other people don't have issues because I'm sure there were people in the North, but I'm Southern, and I know, and I hear my grandparents and my mom talk about how people were threatened and all of this stuff just to vote, and how people were manipulated to vote different ways, and how people were paid, black folk were paid to run against certain black people so they would lose the
Listen, Jay.
vote.
Right now they still trying to manipulate the vote here. I just seen with this lady who lost, right? She lost the election. She mad, sour grapes. She up in there saying that they had voter intimidation. They didn't convince this lady who already done voted as a Democrat. The lady said, I'm a Democrat. I don't even know why I'm here. She said, I'm gonna sit over here. They didn't went and use this lady name in vain, saying, well, the voters registration tried to intimidate her and wouldn't let her vote. Y'all full of shit's not easy. It wasn't that. It was the fact that the lady was a Democrat and the lady sat over there on her own and decided not to vote. But anyway, Jay, I'm about to get off. Get off, y'all. Y'all have a good day. It's 10:16. I ain't even pretending like I just walked out the house to go to work. So I'm about to get in the car and get on down this road. And I'll be going live later on, y'all, from the newspaper
All
office.
right. So
All
y'all
right,
check out
Jay.
Vivian. Thanks,
We
Vivian.
out.
Thanks for
Y'all have a
coming
good
over.
one. All right.
So you all, yeah. So I know this stuff is not popular, and we ain't talking about people and roasting and gagging, but this is some serious stuff. And our people are really suffering because we're ignorant, not stupid, but ignorant to what's really going on. And if we knew half the stuff that was going on and what people were plotting, we would be more serious about it. And that's the whole thing. No one brings this to the attention. And all of this stuff circles right back to what I was talking to y'all about this morning with Jason Arday, that guy who was who unalived himself, and who was the youngest professor at Cambridge, and how the people did a lynching campaign and a smear campaign against him. And they wouldn't do that to other professors at Cambridge, but they did it to him. And because he had such a fanciful story, they even brought that into it. So I think we need to be strategic. And, and let me say this, I'm not trying to dampen that man's accomplishments, because I'm sure that man has some awesome accomplishments.
but it came back to bite him when some of that stuff was found out not to be true. And so my thing is, be real about your accomplishments. I'm sorry, I'm back. So be real about your accomplishments. Don't embellish. Be what you say you are, no more, no less. And know that you don't have to tell everything. You don't have to prove everything to everybody. Just walk in it. Just really walk in it. And I think that's the big thing. Just walk in it. Hold on for a minute, you all. I'm back. So just walk in it. And I'm not saying to diminish your again accomplishments, but that young man did so many interviews and his stories changed and people, again, y'all, we got Mark Twain's of the world and people who have told fanciful tales and nobody don't think anything of it. And oh my God, he did all of that. And there's some people who have really embellished some things, but yeah. Oh shoot, I didn't know about NASCAR being in DC streets, but yeah, but it's a lot of things going on, you all. I want you all to really be alert and not alarmed, but be woke. And I know people want to make being woke to be bad. No, no, it's we're aware. You know what's going on because people want you to be asleep so they can take advantage. And being asleep means not going to your city council meetings and allowing people to redistrict and rezone your housing and stuff and if people don't want that stuff done to them, then why would you want it done to somebody else? And that's what I always tell people. If you don't want that done to you, then why would you want that for somebody else? If you don't want eminent domain to take your property, then why would you want somebody to take somebody else's property? But this is the thing: long as it's black people, long as it's low wealth people, don't matter if it's black or white, then we don't have no problem. And I think we need to really start waking up because there's a lot of things going on. So, but look, y'all, I'm getting ready to head out myself. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. Y'all have a good one, peace and love, and we'll talk later on. Bye.